Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the New York Sports Take. I believe we are on episode 4 at this point in time. Very special guest has joined us today, all the way from East Meadow, New York. Man, that's a long ways away. It's Andrew Nadler. Drew, thanks for coming on, buddy. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we are thrilled. We have a lot to talk about. I always feel like late October, this time of year comes around, and it was kind of my motivation to get the podcast up and running once again. Like it is postseason baseball, obviously hockey and basketball both getting underway, and then football season is just glorious. All 18 weeks of football season are special, unless of course you're a Jets fan. Then they're just miserable after miserable after miserable, and it never gets better. And then the owner comes out and talks today, and you feel like, hey, our owner's going to talk. Maybe, just maybe, he can give us some semblance of hope. Maybe he can say something that will ooze out a little bit of optimism for Jets fans. But no, he says that maybe if we can complete a pass, it would look good. But that's not happening. So we have a lot to get to. We are going to talk about the World Series and preview that a little bit. Congratulations to the Toronto Blue Jays, who have now punched their ticket to the World Series for the first time since 1992. And we are living in a very 93. Yeah, that's right. They won back-to-back, 92 and 93. Good job there, Drewby. And we are living in a world of massive irony. And would you agree with this? Where America's team is actually in Canada because nobody is rooting for those Dodgers.
No one.
Yeah.
Like on like Instagram, on social media, everyone's like, "Oh, the Dodgers, they're ruining baseball. They spend all this money and they buy the best players." Like, I hate the Dodgers personally, but like, good for them. Spend your money, get the best talent, and put yourself in championship contention every year. I mean, as I'm a Mets fan, the Mets do the same thing, but like, the Mets are they're gonna choke, but like, they spend money, and I think they should spend money on pitching. And re-sign Pete Alonso, hopefully, y'all be with me. But it's like, you think about it, these like small market teams, like, who don't spend money, they're ruining the game.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, if there will be I'm a very, what's up?
There's going to be a lockout in 2 years.
Yeah, I really hope not. And I think if the Dodgers win, the chances of that are probably amplified. I'm a big advocate for a salary floor, but not a salary cap.
Like, I think teams should be able to spend as much money as they want, but there's got to be a floor. Like these teams, like the Pirates, like the Rockies, who don't spend money and are cheap, like have to spend their money to be competitive.
There's no doubt. There's some of the worst owners in sports. I mean, but just Fisher with the A's and Nutting with the Pirates. I mean, these guys are actually like the biggest assholes in the world. I mean, they were literally handed generational wealth, and they were handed these franchises the keys to, and all they care about is the bottom line and the profit, and they have zero pride in what they're doing whatsoever. But we'll save that for the second portion of the show. Let's lead off and talk a little bit about the giant disaster that took place in the Mile High on Sunday, falling at the hands to the Denver Broncos, 33-32 loss. I forget whatever this number was, but I remember Kevin Harlan and the other broadcaster for this game, when the fourth quarter came along, they talked about how Denver has just been putting an ass spanking on teams in the fourth quarter all year long. They've been so dominant in the fourth. But you're thinking to yourself, right? I mean, 19-0 going into that quarter. 26-8. 18-point lead. Less than 6 minutes to go in that game. You have to figure that the Giants are going to hold on. And then a calamity of events occurs. It felt like, Drew, honestly, you could point to 5 or 6 things that went against the Giants as we went down the stretch in that game, that if they didn't occur, they would have been able to hold on to win. And obviously, go ahead.
I think the breaking point, Dart throws a pick, and the Broncos get the ball down in the red zone. Like, he throws a late pick in the fourth quarter, rookie mistake, and you can't give that to a team like Denver, who's pounded these teams in the fourth quarters. And for the fourth quarter, they're dangerous. Bo Nix takes over the game, wills them to victory, and it's like I get Dart's a rookie, but like, can't be throwing a pick inside of 5 minutes when you're up by that much.
Yeah, Jackson Dart was really extraordinary. 283 yards, had a few touchdowns, played a superb 3 quarters, and then even on the Giants' final offensive drive, stepped up, made huge plays, made a Superman move to get to the end zone. He was great, and that was the one, kind of like they say in baseball with the pitcher. It was sort of the one mistake that is one of the reasons that cost them the game. I don't take issue with the play call. A lot of Giant fans are saying at that point in time, you just run the ball, make Denver go the length of the field, punt the ball there. Their offense had kind of been struggling all day, especially through the first 3 quarters. Bo Nix looked like poo-poo, and then then he looked great, obviously, and everything. Yeah, exactly. Everything reversed from there. But no, I don't have issue. I did not take issue with the play call. 3rd and 6, you're trying to be aggressive. If they get the first down there, then at that point, there's still 4 minutes and there's what? Yeah, I mean, you probably still have to get another first down. But I think Denver only had one timeout. What really comes down to is, and we got to talk about this kicker too. McClintock. I
can't say his last name.
Jude McIntyre. I kept saying McIntyre, but apparently that's wrong too. Yes, if he does his job, they win that game. If he doesn't, apparently on the first one, there was an issue with the snap or whatever, and then the second one he just pulled it. That was awful. I don't know. It's honestly an indictment, Drew. Let's just address it right here as it is now. This is a long-standing issue that really falls back on Joe Schoen since March and April. I mean, they literally went into this season with no plan, relying on 37-year-old, 38-year-old Graham Gano, who's had persistent health issues the last 3 years, and rolling him out as your kicker. That's fine if you believe that he could still kick at a high level and you want him. But to go into the season with no backup plan, considering his injury history, to not draft a kicker in the 7th round, to not prioritize a kicking tryout for the backup position. It's an indictment on Joe Schoen and Brian Dable. It's a lack of preparation. And then you sign Young-Ho Koo, who used to be really good a couple of years ago. Apparently, I'm not on the Giants practice field. I guess Jude beat him in this Jude beat him in this competition. But still, I mean, it is organizational malpractice how they've handled this whole thing, dating back to a long time ago, and it partially cost them the game there. And if I'm ranking all three, I would put the least amount of it on Dart. He made a mistake. It's a rookie. He makes the mistake. That's probably something he doesn't do next year. Actually did a really good job of escaping the pocket on that play, but just didn't put it. Well, even if he put more loft on, he would have had it. But it's a rookie mistake. It happens. He played a really nice game. Then the kicking situation, but first and foremost, just how Shane Bowen handled some of the defensive play calling in that game.
At the end of the game, where the Broncos, they're trying to get down the field at the end of the game to kick a field goal, they rush 3. They have a ferocious pass rush, and they drop 8. And Bo Nix just drops it into Sutton, gets him in range, and they get on the ball and spike, and they kick the game winner. Brian Burns in the tunnel was yelling. He tweeted about, I wasn't yelling at them, yelling because of the play calling and Bowen. I think that's bullshit in my opinion. He was pissed. At that point, you're trying to win the game. You don't rush 3 and drop 8.
It was probably the worst, and Rex Ryan, if anybody has a chance to watch or whatever, watch Rex Ryan's reaction to it on Get Up the following morning. A defensive guy, an aggressive defensive coach that probably would have done the opposite in that situation.
Yeah, he would have said
and rushed 4 or 5, especially. And I feel like, Drew, you hit it. I was going to bring it up, but Burns' reaction kind of says it all. Of course, I forget what he said in the tunnel, but it was something about the defensive alignment there. Yeah, it was. How do you drop 8 in that situation? Especially when you're the New York Giants and the strength of your team is that pass rush. Their defense is literally built to thrive in those situations and put the pressure on Bo Nix to go make a throw. That's Abdul Carter not even being on the field on that play is inexcusable. Malpractice on Shane Bowen's part. And then horrible coverage by the corners in that situation as well. I think it was Drew Phillips who was practically jogging with Mims on that last play. Jogging with him.
I tuned in late in the fourth quarter watching the drive. I was doing a lot of homework, but they were talking on the drive where they scored to take the lead, third and 9. They throw the ball to Marvin Mims, who's covered by Phillips and Carlin's. They've been going at him all game, and it's then at the end of the game when they get into range, they had him guarding Cortland Sutton, who's their number 1 Pro Bowl every year. It's maybe you should double, that guy, their number 1 receiver who's going up against the guy who's been bullied all game. It's just bad coaching, bad game planning, bad game management, and it's you see it from the Giants every week. You see it all the time.
That's what they do best. I don't know, but by the way, just by the standard, going into this season, I am shocked that Shane Bowen held his position still as DC, because this is a defense that underperformed pretty much all of last year for what they had on the roster, and going into the season as well. I understand the logic, giving Brian Dable and Joe Shane and that regime another go at it. But when you go 2-15, Drew, somebody's got to get fired, and I look at an underperforming defense, and that's my scapegoat. I let him go. I think he's a horrible DC. He had problems in wherever he was, Tennessee, and honestly, I don't think he should have. I think he should have had to walk back from Denver.
Allowed to play with the kicker.
Yeah, with Jude McEnroe, and he didn't more malpractice. Joe Shane bringing in this guy, he didn't even start in college. It's like a Tim Boyle case. It's like
Tim Boyle.
It's like Tim Boyle of kicking.
College.
How is this guy getting opportunities in the NFL if he stunk in college and didn't even start at Rutgers? It's mind-boggling. It really is. And the Giants deserve to lose that game for the multitude of reasons that we just went over. And when you really look at it holistically, Drew, you could there are a number of ways, if I'm a Giants fan, in which I could view this game. And I'm just pissed. I would just be pissed. I'd be frustrated. My roommate from Chicago is actually a diehard Giants fan. He was throwing shit all over the room. He was in absolute agony and awe and just disgusted. Probably barely spoke the rest of the night in just what he witnessed with that game. But it was further evidence pointing to they have their franchise quarterback. Jackson Dart was once again spectacular. Cam Stanford, another great game. I mean, these young pieces continue to show that they're the future of the franchise.
Yeah, of course you want to look at the positives of the game. Jackson Dart, 2 great weeks. I was at the game when they played the Eagles in New York. He tore them up. I was there. I was like, this guy's pretty good. I might have been wrong. But Scattaboo. Yo, I love watching Scattaboo run the football.
Yeah, it's really a gift to watch.
3 yards look exciting. Mind you, he's going to have the greatest 3 to 5 year career ever and then retire medically when he has severe CTE. But, as Giants fans, you got something to look forward to. You have these 2 young pieces. You may have found your franchise quarterback, but there's going to be growing pains. I think it's too good to be true right now for them. A little bit, they might need to have a fall to reality. But you never know.
No, and to your point about a false reality or whatever it may be, that they might regress to the mean at some point, and this was just all high and mighty in the first few weeks. I thought that we might see the lever pulled down a little bit on these guys going into Denver against probably the number 1 defense in the league, against a defense that's number 1 pass rush. Granted, Justin Fields stinks, and the Jets are a shit show right now, but they got to him 9 times last game, and they are on pace, actually, at this point in time, to set the single-season sack record over the 86 Bears. That's how good they are. That's how many lethal weapons they have in Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper and Allen. They are just so stacked all together. So it was a really big test to go into that tough atmosphere and that altitude. And he showed guts, man. He showed guts on that last drive. I know he got a PI call go his way. Things kind of tipped in his favor. But, man, the Giants of old, no way do they cough up a lead like that, then go back down the length of the field and retake the lead. And then the Giants of old reared their ugly head there on defense. But Jackson Dart was spectacular, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns. Once again, his poise, his presence, the way that he controls the line of scrimmage as well, it's really impressive, and I think he's going to be there a long time. So, yeah, that pretty much does it with the Giants. Not much more to say there. Go ahead.
Like, Denver, tough, tall task. They answered the bell. They did really well. This coming weekend, they go down to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. Kelly Green, like BG coming out.
Kelly Green, huh? This is the first time Philly's breaking out the Kelly Greens, bro.
Kelly Greens. And I'm just going to touch on the Eagles because I am an Eagles fan.
Well, we're going to go around the NFL a little bit.
Okay.
And you can do
All
that.
right,
Yeah.
We'll touch on that later.
Yeah, so, but I just want to add one more wrinkle into the equation here. Like, the most disappointing thing, and it's once again, bigger picture, it was further evidence of Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo being remarkable players for you, and actually, you have a team now. There's nothing more infuriating in football than not having a quarterback. Looks like the Giants have a quarterback. However, you win that game, you're 4-3 all of a sudden. The NFC is a conglomerate. I mean, you got 12 teams right now in the NFC with over a 10% chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, like
you have an opportunity in front of you. Now you're 2-5, right? And you play Philly. Philly, granted, yeah, you kicked their ass weeks ago. They're still favored. Yeah, they're still Philly's still favored. Philly is still obviously the better team, so it's a really tough matchup. I felt like they had to win one of those 2 games, and that's probably the opportunity they got against the Broncos. I mean, anything could happen, but I'd be hard pressed to see the Giants sweep the Eagles this year. That would just feel like ludicrous. But yeah, it's a missed opportunity
in Philly. And Philly with their raucous crowd, which I've been a part of, they're nuts.
Absolutely.
Like, this is going to be a test for them. If they can go into Philadelphia, who, against the Vikings, looked really well offensively. Jalen Hurts, perfect passer rating, 323 with 3 touchdowns. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith looked unguardable.
But they both got over 100 receiving yards, I think.
Yeah, they both accounted for like 304 yards and 3 touchdowns together, which then they go in to play the Giants, whose secondary is, kind of shaky. If Jalen Hurts is in rhythm with those 2 and they can get Barkley going, it's going to be a tough game. And
yeah, it is. I feel like, and you obviously are a diehard Eagles fan. You follow them very closely. A lot of people were all panicked after that Giants game, and they looked terrible. They looked awful. The defense didn't really look good, and the offense, Saquon rips off 2 runs in the beginning of the game for 36 yards. Then it felt like the run game was completely neutralized from there. And then Jalen Hurts they had some drives, but then, the Cordell Flott pick and whatever. And there was major questions about their passing game up until this game against the Vikings. And they showed that they are still a lethal team through the air. 326 yards for Hurts, 19-23. Really, really impressive stuff. At home against, I know that the Vikings aren't great this year, sitting at 500, but a Brian Flores-led defense had that success.
And the Vikings have the number 1 pass defense. Like, against the pass, they're the best team. And the Eagles went in and just shredded them.
Yeah, they absolutely shredded them. And that's a hard thing to do, as you just said, against that pass defense. Probably tops in the NFC. And defense, 22 points they allowed, but they forced 3 turnovers on Carson Wentz.
Yeah, they forced 2 picks. One of them was a pick 6.
One of them a pick 6, and Carson Wentz and his return to Philadelphia, where he's forever in Eagles lore for the 2017 Super Bowl. Hey, he didn't finish it off, but he was having an MVP type season that year.
He was the MVP. funny enough, the pick he threw to Andrew Makuba, I met him at training camp, and I saw him. He's legit.
Oh yeah.
I met Makuba. Yeah, nice guy.
Yeah, so that should be. We'll have our eyes very closely on that matchup next week. It's more enticing than what the records may tell you because the Giants are still kind of playing for a lot at 2-5. You look around some of the other scores in the league. Drew, Thursday night was a great game in the Icy Hot Bowl between Raj
Oh
and
yeah.
Joe Flacco
Oh,
going at it.
those unks slinging the rock. Yo,
That
yo,
was
that
awesome, man. That really was. That was like nostalgic. Like I felt like I was watching a Phillip Rivers Eli Manning game or
yo, you
something.
kid again. Watching those two slinging the rock.
Yeah, battle of two 40-year-old QBs going at it. Cam Hayward made a really funny comment that I just referenced going into the week when Rodgers was getting ready to take questions from the media. He shouts over to Raj, "Icy hot bowl this week." And really, I mean, Bengals aren't out of it, man. The Jets are coming in there next week, so you expect that to be a W for them. That leaves them at 4-4, 3-1 at home. Suddenly in the conversation, Flacco still looks like he could pass at a high level. He was, I think, almost near 350 passing yards on the day, 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase had a monster game, and you can't really, Drew. I mean, you played football. Not that you ever played really, high level or whatever, but you played football. You know how hard game planning is. I mean, could you imagine different scheme, different offense, different uniform, different everything, and then same state, only thing in common for 1 week, and then the following week you get signed. You make probably the 3.5-hour drive down from Cleveland to Cincinnati. You suit up on a short week. You have to learn the entire playbook, and you drop 3 touchdowns at almost 350 passing yards. Granted, you're 40 years old. I mean, that is super, super impressive. Joe Flacco, still, as the president would say, elite quarterback.
I love that clip. What
Yeah.
a Super Bowl with that elite arm. Yo.
Elite quarterback Joe Flacco getting it done. So great start to the week. And then as Sunday rolled around, the morning game was not so pretty. The Rams just absolutely laying it on the Jags, 35-7.
Touchdowns all down at the goal line.
Yeah, all down at the goal line. 5 tutties for Stafford. Rams look like contenders this year. Just flat out, really good team.
Oh, yeah,
Passing game once again going. And yeah, the should I call them the Jacksonville Jaguars or the London Jaguars? I mean, it feels like every year they are out there in London or Germany or wherever it is. They're pretty much the NFL's international team until the NFL gets one, which will probably come one day, but it's a different conversation to be had. Yeah, Drew, I mean, I was excited for that one, kind of. Felt like 2 really competitive teams. The Jags coming off a really, really impressive win over the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday night a couple weeks ago. Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence looked to have ignited that offense. And yeah, they just laid an egg. And the Rams, who were in London for less than 24 hours, just demolish. And then the 1 o'clock slate, not really a great witching hour. None of those games outside. I mean, the Denver Giants game was obviously the game of the week, probably. Bears get another win at home over the Saints. You had the Browns actually scored 31 points, albeit against the disastrous Dolphins, who honestly, Drew, I would be shocked. I would be shocked if Mike McDaniel gets through that year. I can't believe he's already not been let go.
Probably going to get fired. That team is a dumpster fire. Tua Tagovailoa looks like dog shit. Gets benched, throws 3 picks. But
Yeah.
just bad. Like, it's just not fun to watch.
No, it's not. And this is supposed to be a dynamic offense with Tyreek Hill and this and that. And now
Snaps his leg. He looks so
snaps his
happy.
leg and then cheering about it.
Looks so happy. He's like, thank God I have to play for this dumpster fire of an organization.
I've never seen it. I would say I've never seen anything like that in my life. But, and I think you know this, I was in the building for Jets Buccaneers a few years ago when AB.
Oh, yeah, you were. When Antonio Brown takes off his shirt.
So I would say I've never seen anything like it, but That was atop the list for me. Yeah, that was unbelievable. I actually didn't see it. I heard about it. People on Twitter were next to me or whatever. They're like, "Did anybody see AB rip his pads off and run towards the locker room and throw up a peace sign?" Jets ended up losing that game in horrible fashion. What's the sound? What's the sound
Down
of
the sickness.
Yeah, down to the
I think it's
sickness.
just moved the most embarrassing way they play that
Yeah.
song.
After the Jets, after the Jets blow another multi-score lead and a big chance to beat Tom Brady on the final drive, we were feeling the pain there once again. But that's what it's all about if you're a fan of the green and white. Pain! We're addicted to it. Yeah, it's a real sickness. And then the Patriots look amazing, Drew. They really do.
Drake
Mike Vrabel's return down to Tennessee, where he just laid it on them. I'll let you kind of take the runway here. Like, where do you think the Patriots season goes from here? Do you think they can compete in the AFC East?
I think the Patriots can compete this year in the AFC East. You know, a couple weeks ago, they go into Buffalo. Drake May, gutsy performance.
Yeah.
They go into Buffalo and win, which is very hard. Bills were undefeated at home for such a long time, and they go into Buffalo and beat them. And they look like the real deal. Mike Vrabel, I think, reignited the Patriot way they had with Bill Belichick. You know, Vrabel played with them during the beginning of that dynasty, and I think he's brought them back. And the Patriots are a dangerous team. I think they get into the playoffs. They don't make a run. They're young and inexperienced, but in a couple years, Drake May is going to lead that team to the promised land.
No doubt about it. It's like you look at Jackson Dart and the Giants right now, and obviously the growing sentiment right now in New York is that Jackson Dart is a superstar and the Giants might have their guy. Well, it's even more proven at this point that the Patriots do have their guy. Drake May flat out looks amazing. He was awesome in prime time against the Bills a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you mentioned that game or not. It was another route for them, and they're at a point right now where they play teams like the Titans, like the Jets, like the Browns, and you expect them to go out there and dominate, and they did. Speaking of domination, Chiefs 31-0 over the Raiders. Patrick Mahomes. By the way, now they're betting favorites again to win the Super Bowl, which is amazing. They're 4-3, Drew, but it honestly feels like to me they are right back where they need to be. I honestly feel better about this 4-3 Chiefs team than I did when they were whatever it was 7-0 or 8-0 last year. Their offense looks once again dynamic. Pacheco had a touchdown. Travis Kelce, nothing special in the game, but Mahomes has his weapons back, and they're the Chiefs. It finds like they'll probably find themselves.
They're one of the best coach teams in the league. Andy Reid, one of the best. It's like you look at them. It's like somewhat of the Chiefs of old. These dynamic offenses that they're not. When they win, they blow everybody out. When they lose, it's a real close game.
And usually they find a way to win those close games, right? That's what they do in the playoffs. That's what they did against the Ravens last year. It's what they do to Buffalo. They flip second half leads. They find ways to do it. It always comes down to the little things. And the Chiefs, because they're so well coached, Drew, feels like they always get those little things down. Fun little stat. Once again, Patrick Mahomes. Having a historic career that sometimes goes under the radar. Now 93 regular season wins, most by any quarterback before turning 31 years of old. We are witnessing greatness in him, and it's good to remind ourselves of that once in a while. Once again, the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl. And finally, we wrap up the slate, the 1 o'clock slate, with the Jets and the Panthers. Drew, I'm kind of at a point right now, I'm a diehard Jets fan. I could talk. I could not have you on, and I could do a whole podcast talking about them, but I don't. I mean, it's just so beyond painful. We are so done. The fans are. It's bad because this is the best way I can put it. Nobody cares anymore. We're all and this is not just personally me. We watch these games. I think I cheered twice. I'm watching these games, I feel numb. I see the final score, I'm numb. I'm not even frustrated. I'm not screaming at the TV the whole time. I feel no emotion watching this team. They are such a freaking I'm not, you know me, I'm very high tempered, pretty passionate fan. I still get heated, but like, it just is so deflating. And Justin Fields obviously has shown you at this point in his career that he is not a capable NFL starter. Chicago knew it, the processing. They saw it early on, Drew. They made the right decision to go draft Caleb Williams. They knew that he cannot be under center for an NFL offense. There's a multitude of issues and holes in his game. The processing, the inability to throw the ball accurately, the fact that he holds on to the ball longer than anybody else, over just about 4 seconds on average. The guy is absolutely flat out terrible, and he's getting paid $20 million this year. There's no doubt about it that the athleticism is there. We're all well aware. Honestly, if I'm Justin Fields right now, I'm converting myself into a wide receiver or running back so I can maybe make myself an NFL player. Maybe we see that kind of transition from him because he's not a pocket passer. He was put on a historically bad performance against the Broncos, negative 10 net passing yards, the worst performance of all time by a quarterback. You could go on and find new statistics telling you how bad he was. He had a really nice game in week 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it instilled a lot of hope in Jet fans that maybe we've unlocked something here in Justin Fields, and maybe we do have a Lamar-type quarterback between the threat of the legs and the arm, but now we've gotten to a point where he's just shown you he's incapable. And that's all you can say about it. And now word is pretty much out that Tyrod Taylor is probably going to be starting going into next week against the Bengals. So we'll have another like icy hot bowl game on our hands. We're going to have Tyrod and Flacco going at it. You could see a lot of points there potentially. That should be a fun one. Defense for the Jets has looked better last couple of weeks, and I don't want to dive into the weeds of this game or whatever. If Sauce Gardner, if you're listening, which there's a 10,000% chance you're not, you stink, bro, and you need to go watch the film. Go watch the film of what J.C. Horn did last week. That guy had 2 picks and 2 incredible catches. Granted, Tyrod with a bad throw, especially on the second one. I don't know why we're looking for Josh Reynolds one-on-one down the sideline. He is not Garrett Wilson, okay? We're throwing to a bunch of JV receivers over there. The options, don't get me wrong, Justin Fields stinks. But major holes on this roster. I could go on and on about it all day. And the fact that Darren Muji, who also deserves to be fired, him and Glenn, get him the hell out of here, goes into a season, Drew, he goes into a season with Josh freaking Reynolds as your WR2. That is unacceptable in the NFL.
That's diabolical. He was at the
diabolical. That's a describing word that you can use. Yeah. 13-6. Panthers didn't deserve to win. We'll see what happens with Bryce Young. He left the game with an injured ankle. A winnable game. Once again, defense back-to-back weeks in which they allowed only 13 points, but not able to get anything going offensively. We now are without a touchdown for the last, 10 quarters. It's brutal, Drew. It's really tough to watch. MetLife Stadium was tens of thousands of empty seats, and I'm done talking about the Jets. Let's move on. Monday Night Football, or whatever. What else do you want to look at here? Cowboys offense, man, they look great this year. Well-oiled machine. Keep in mind, before this week, they were doing it without CeeDee Lamb, too. Dak looks great. Obviously, you're an Eagles fan, Drew. Did you see the rumors today that Max Crosby could be in the mix for them?
That Max Crosby could be going. Like, their offense, high flying, really well. Their defense, though, is like Swiss cheese. There are holes everywhere.
Yeah. There's.
So if they got 440 and hang on, it almost reminds me. We're going to dive into college football here, just an analogy of last year's Miami team with Cam Ward. Like
that's a very good analogy.
For their opponents, and they win 45-42. And they said on game day last year, I think it was like Pat McAfee, one of them. They're like, get up by 21 and hold on, because Dallas defense is atrocious.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree. Almost also reminds me of historically, I mean, Joe Burrow literally put together probably an MVP type season
he should have been
last.
the MVP last year. If
He
the
should have been
Bengals
the
don't play Joe
MVP.
Burrow, they go 0-16 every year.
Exactly. And right now, they're looking at a timetable for him where he may have a chance of returning with about a month left in the season. We'll see if Joe Flacco can keep them in playoff position. But that's my analogy, my NFL analogy to this year's Cowboys is last year's Bengals with all the points that they were putting up with Burrow having a phenomenal year, taking them 9-8 almost to the playoffs. But the defense outside of Trey Hendrickson was so incredibly awful. Maybe one of the worst secondaries we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that ultimately led to their demise. They lost so many close games that they could have won, including one against the Commanders at home early in the season. The Packers just held on there. I mean, Cardinals had a big lead at one point in that game. 3 sacks, another really great game for Micah Parsons. They rallied past the Cardinals 27-23. You want to chime in there?
Yeah, Micah Parsons, monster game. That's the Micah Parsons we all know and love. Well, as an
Yeah,
Eagles fan, love and hate.
yeah, exactly. He's been nothing short of great. I mean, he's having.
He's the real deal, top 3 pass rusher in football. And their offense, if they get going and they're firing on all cylinders, Jordan Love isn't turning the football over, they're lethal and they're going to be hard to stop.
I agree with you on that one. Last night, I did not really. I was all tuned in on the on the ALCS Game 7. Don't really have an opinion as far as the Falcons and the 49ers go.
Oh, I missed that.
Two Jets DCs meeting each other in that one with Ulbrich and Saleh. And yeah, 49ers look good, man. They're 5-2. Looks like they're positioned to a lot of like 4-2, 5-2 competitive teams. The NFC's wide open, Drew. I'm sure you are aware of that as an Eagles fan. So much parity going on in this league right now. I mean, just a great time to be alive in the NFL. And then the Lions looked great yesterday. Buccaneers, they're 5-2. They're still looking really good. But the Bucs have found themselves in positions this year where they're usually late, close games. They didn't even have an opportunity to do that in this game. The Lions were too good. Jameer Gibbs was too
Gibbs
good.
ran wild against them last night.
Yeah, I think he had like 33 fantasy points. And yeah, a big win for them. And then the final Monday night game was between the Texans and the Seahawks. Just a really weird, sloppy game that was. I mean, you look at the final line for CJ Stroud, it doesn't look awful with the 229 passing yards. But man, that Texans offense, it looked like it had regressed last year, Drew. I think it's even taken a step further down this year. They're not in sync whatsoever. And the Seahawks are the opposite. Sam Darnold looks really strong in the passing game. It looks like it might be a successful contract for him. Kenneth Walker, nice game, 66 yards for him. Smith and Jigba is such a weapon in the passing game for Darnold. We've always known it. We've always pretty much known it with Sam, is that when guys get open, when the route concepts work for him, he's going to hit his receivers. He is a really solid pocket passer, and once again shows that yesterday. And Seattle, tough loss for those M's, but they do get the home win over the AFC opponent Texans. Any final thoughts as we wrap up Week 7? I talked about the parity that's going on and how everything's wide open right now. I think I mentioned earlier, 12 teams pretty much in the NFC have like legitimate playoff
Legit playoff
chances,
spots.
which is crazy.
It's fair game, you know.
Yeah.
No team is like hold ahead. They're gonna claim that #1 seed.
Yep, no team is head over heels dominating this year across the NFL, but you'll have to see it. I saw some season comparisons of saying that this aligns closely with 2017, and then they mentioned many moons ago as well. So that will wrap up the NFL portion of this pod. Let's talk a little bit about the World Series, Drew. We have Wow, this is gonna be very interesting. I think Rob Manfred and Yankees Dodgers, right? I mean, that's probably the ideal matchup that you look at. But Rob Manfred and baseball have to be very happy with what we have. I mean,
Oh yeah.
this is amazing. Um, Toronto, okay. Last time they were here was 1993. It's been a long, long time coming for these fans. This is a starved, not only fan base but country. They are now at a point in time where they have the opportunity to do something that they haven't done in forever, and a whole country behind them. You can't even describe, honestly, it's hard to put into words how passionate those fans are and how far reaching it is, because we all know that Toronto is a hockey country first and that's their sport and whatever, but they love their Jays, especially in that northern Canada area, and they have a really special opportunity in front of them. The Dodgers, Drew, what do you have to say as far as it goes with Shohei putting together probably the greatest individual game we've ever seen from a baseball player?
As a fan of the sport, you love to see someone put on that level of dominance. That just a level of dominance no one has ever seen. 6 innings, 10 Ks, hits 3 home runs. It's like we've never seen a player like this, and it's so intriguing. Where it's like you don't know what he's going to do every night. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. You really don't. I mean, when I think about Shohei Ohtani, and he only pitched the one time in that series too, but the man, he's literally a showman. Like, he's doing unprecedented things. This podcast was not intended to argue. I'm not going to go as far as, and it was brought up a lot in the sports media landscape after the historic Game 4 that he had to clinch the sweep over the Brewers. If he is the greatest baseball player of all time, that is now suddenly becoming a conversation. I personally think it's Babe Ruth. But Babe Ruth was not hitting 97 and throwing 97 and doing these things simultaneously like Shohei is. To be able to sit down over the course of a regular 3-hour baseball game and watch a guy go deep 3 times and absolutely dominate on the mound. It's like we see that a lot. I'm sure we've all had Little League teammates that have done that, and me and you were two-way jacks in our day, and that's just not something that you see at the major league level, though. It's unprecedented. And now the Dodgers, they listen, man, and we talked about it at the top of the show. It probably hurts baseball if they go back-to-back. They're the first team with the opportunity to do so since the 2008 Phillies, and they fell out the hands of the Yankees in 2009. Last team to go back-to-back was the Yankees in 2000 when they had won 3 times in a row, 98, 99, and 2000. I mean, as far as it's hard because your brain, right, Drew, it wants to tell you that who is beating the Dodgers right now?
yeah.
The Blue Jays have had to grind, right? They had to grind out the Yankees series, even though 3-1 is what the final may say there, and they outscored us 34-19. And to get more in depth on that series, go check out my previous podcast to this one where we kind of broke down the Yankee season a little bit. But they were on the brink of going back to Toronto for the deciding game there. They just went 7 with Seattle. And the Dodgers have just cruised their way to this point.
Hold up, I'm trying to do the math here. They've gone 8-1 throughout the postseason. They lost 1 game to Philadelphia.
1 game. Philly was never even a threat. And that was, they took 2. Yeah, I mean, they took 2 on the road at their place, then going back to Dodger Stadium. That's an easy spot to give up 1, and then they ultimately win it on a big Philly blunder, the Thursday night game. Just a boneheaded play on that one, but no doubt they were the better team in that series. They were just a flat out looked like a juggernaut over the Milwaukee Brewers. And Drew, a lot of the sentiment around baseball and a big critique by Yankee fans of the way that our roster is constructed. And it is true to some extent that you have to put the ball in play, that you have to have the.
Doesn't win you game in the post. Cannot fully win you games during the postseason.
No, and it was ultimately the demise of the Mariners. I mean, you look across their lineup, the Mariners, and they have. It feels like more than half of their lineup was hitting below 200. You literally have Victor Robles. Yeah, you have Victor Robles rounding out the order for you. Like, it's just not going to get it done. The Blue Jays lineup is so deep.
Yeah,
Like, when you look at
they all hit.
they all hit.
The Blue Jays, they're a scrappy team. Like Vlad Jr., he's their power guy. He's caught fire in the postseason, and it's like just top to bottom. Like Ernie Clement, I've never heard of him until the postseason. He's hitting up around 500. Can't get him out. It's just the Blue Jays. They play team baseball. 1 through 9, they all hit, and they outgritted the Mariners. They got the hits in the clutch situations when the Mariners didn't.
Yeah, exactly. You need a little bit of both. You need your stars to be stars. You need to have guys that round out the bottom of the order that put the ball in play and contribute in meaningful ways. And listen, George Springer, let's give him a little golf clap here on the show today. I hate his guts. He's a cheater. He was part of that 2017. Yeah, he was part of the trash banging Stros that won the World Series. I'm sure he's going to get a very warm welcome at Dodger Stadium, where he won the World Series over the Dodgers in 2017. He's a guy that at the end of the day, my dad had texted me earlier today, George Springer Hall of Famer. Like, it has to be a question just because of the clutch factor. I think he has 23 postseason career home runs now, which is like,
and I saw it yesterday. They put it up when he got interviewed at the end of the game. He has, I think, 9 go-ahead home runs during the postseason.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. 9 go-ahead.
Yeah, 9 go-ahead home runs in the postseason. He is one of the most clutch players in the playoffs we've ever seen.
Yeah, 4th most homers in postseason history. Got past Bernie Williams for that mark. Now he's tied with Schwartz for 3rd all time. And what a moment. But like we said, it's a combination of both. It's playing complementary baseball. You can't stress that enough. And what set that up? That was set up by the bottom of the order doing their job. Addison Barger, who 15 guys, Drew, on this Blue Jays roster were at the minor leagues at some point. And that also includes guys being down there for injuries and whatnot. But still, you're talking about 15 guys that comprised this team that were AAA last year. Blue Jays finishing in last place last regular season before the postseason narrative that they can't win in the postseason and this and that. And it's all come together for John Schneider right now. A big question for them going into this postseason. Everybody was aware of how they could beat you with their bats and how deep of a lineup that they have, much like the Brewers in some regards, but a lot of question marks around their staff, and they have totally answered the bell. That whole bullpen's been great. Louis Varland, I think, has 10 appearances in the postseason. He's been absolute nails. Hoffman striking out the side. That was electric to watch.
Oh, yeah, I was watching it. Yo, that place erupted every strikeout.
Every strike. I mean, you got a whole country of support behind you. You got a packed out Rogers Center, 40,000 people screaming at the top of their lungs. Truly special to watch. And just to go back, I just circle back to that Springer point, got a little bit off topic there. How does that get set up? It gets set up by the bottom of the order, not giving up, grinding out at-bats. Didn't look like it was their day. Barger walks. Then I think somebody singled after that. Maybe it was Clement.
Down a sack bunt.
No, Jimenez bunted. It was somebody.
Yeah, Clement got
I think it was Clement laced the six. No. IKF. The former Yankee. IKF. Kiner hits a nice hard ground ball right back up the middle on a fastball. 1st and 2nd. Then Andres Jimenez back to New York second baseman there. IKF, and Andres Jimenez getting it done at the bottom of the order, laying the sacrifice bunt, rolling it over to the top of the order, and letting one of the most clutch postseason performers come up in a moment like that and have his Joe Carter moment, have his Kirk Gibson moment, have his Jose Bautista moment. It was all the perfect storm at that point in time. And we do have to look on the other side of this. Mariners manager Dan Wilson not deciding,
not going to Munoz.
not going to your all-star closer. He's been your best all season long. I think he had 7 1/3 shutout innings in the postseason. 6 outings. I have it right here. 6 outings, 7 1/3, no runs. I don't think even any hits. I mean, this is a guy who has been arguably reliever of the year in the AL. Been really good. The only time I could recall him not doing really well was one comeback game against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium when he was tipping his pitches. But other than that, the guy was unbelievable. And all bets are off, Drew. Come October, like, there's no setup this and there's no setup that. I understand the analytics with the lanes, but you're in the situation right there where you got one of the most dangerous hitters in baseball this year, George Springer, at the plate with the tying run on second base, with Wu obviously not being set up to throw in that situation. You have to go to your top guy, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like, you got Game 7, do or die. Huge point in the game. You got one of their best hitters coming up. You have to go with you got to go best on best. And it came back to bite him. Springer goes yard. He flipped the Rogers Center upside down, and the Blue Jays just rode that momentum all the way.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Edward Bazardo was who Dan Wilson ultimately went to in that game. Who, by the way, is no scrub. Like, he's their setup man. He's had a really nice season. But it doesn't matter. All bets are off. I can even understand if, you're up, if it was the day prior when they were up 3-2 and you have tomorrow on your mind. No, this is Game 7. You are the Seattle Mariners who have never been to a World Series. It is all hands on deck. You have to, like you said, go best on best. Ultimately, that's not the route that they take, and it comes back to bite them. And it's a legacy moment for all of Toronto sports right there. The place was in an absolute frenzy. It looked like it was shaking, and much like the Joey Bats clip from whatever year that was, 2016, right?
10 years ago.
Yeah, 2015. You look up best sports moments of the decade or whatever, Drew. That's always
first video.
That's always up there, man. Especially in the baseball world, one of the best moments. And yeah, good. You got to be happy for one way or another, Drew. And I hate the Blue Jays. Obviously, they knocked us out. They were the better team in the DS. They had our number all regular season long. We had no answer for them. Plain as simple as that. And I hate their guts. How could you not be happy for them, right? I mean, they got a bunch of grinders on that squad, absolute grinders, and they deserve where they are. And we're handing them a lot more flowers than the Dodgers, but that's because this is just what we expect out of the Dodgers.
Yeah, like, the Dodgers are the Dodgers. Best team in the league, in my opinion. One of the best teams in the league, in my opinion. I think some teams have their number. The Mets during the regular season.
Well, I mean, what, they split?
I think they split, but it's like the Dodgers.
They knocked you out in the playoffs last year. I wouldn't exactly say the Mets have their number, Drew. Sorry.
Don't bring that up. It's a sensitive topic, man.
Had to remind you. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Freddie Freeman owns your franchise.
Yeah. Well, not yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. Shortly thereafter, they got the best of us. It's a completely different series, Drew. If Aaron Boone doesn't screw up and put out Tim Hill in put out Nestor Cortez there in Game 1, he goes to Tim Hill. I think I have 28 rings. Okay, so I don't want to hear it.
I don't know if they were going to win that year. The Dodgers were unstoppable.
Well,
you know what? You can't dwell in the past. You got to live in the present. And as much, and we'll jump back into the World Series. As much as I wanted the Mariners to win, if the Mariners got to the World Series, the Dodgers would have steamrolled them in 4 games.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's a much better matchup, I think. These two teams, the Mariners. Ultimately, John Schneider, I watched his post-game presser after the game yesterday, and I do somewhat agree with him. I think the best 2 teams in the stands. And don't get me wrong, watch the last episode. I break down everything with the Yankees. The Yankees had it made for them this year. They were the betting favorites going into that Toronto series. Even though we were 5-8 against them in the regular season, I felt like we were playing so well at the right time, winning 11 out of the last 12 regular season games, and everything kind of going in our direction with the rotation lining up really well. I felt like that's a series we should have won on paper, but the two best teams in this dance are ultimately meeting for the 113th World Series, and it's going to be great. Hopefully, we have some really good pitching matchups. You got a lot of guys with really good splitters in this series, which I think is just like an interesting factoid. Roki, Kyle?
Continue. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, and you got to tip your cap to just the way, and you know, we talked about it, you expect it from the Dodgers, this, that, but when you tap into why, it's because they're high-priced guys, the guys that they're paying the most money to get it done. The imports that they have from Japan are playing sensational. I mean, Roki Sasaki closing out Game 3 and Game 4 against the Brewers, looking absolutely dominant in the process. I think he didn't do well in Game 1, but next two outings, his splitter is just untouchable. It really is. It's one of the best pitches in the game. You have Yamamoto and his hard stuff. Now Shohei's emerging as a top arm. You know, the Blue Jays, they have a deep lineup. They put the ball in play, but they're going to be tested by these Dodger arms.
Yeah, of course. Dodger arms, Snell, Otani, Yamamoto, Glasnow. Just ace after ace after ace after ace. And then the Blue Jays, they go Gausman to you Savage, and then it's like, who's next? Well, the bullpen has some good. I mean, Louis Varland, I mentioned him. He's been like their Iron Man this playoffs. He throws really hard. He's a good arm. Sir Anthony Dominguez has had a nice year. I don't fully trust him, but he's pretty good. And then Jeff Hoffman, a little bit vulnerable to the home run ball this year, the long ball. But, I mean, we touched on it. He looked untouchable yesterday. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I have a hard time, and we're gonna do predictions probably at this point in time. But I think, Drew, that this one comes down to, and the ancillary pieces for the Blue Jays are just a big part of their identity. The bottom of the order, like everybody's going to talk about the Springer home run yesterday, but the bottom of the order led to that happening. The bottom of the order led to them being able to seal the series against the Yankees. Nathan Lukes, another guy like Barger that you mentioned, he was close to retiring. The guy was 30 years old. He had two kids at home. Bounced around a while, never really found his footing, struggled in the major leagues. Then he gets an opportunity, and now he's batting in between Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and George Springer and playing in the World Series. And there's a guy who, he pokes a hit against the Yankees, expands the lead in Game 4 from 2-1 to 4-1. Another integral part of their team. Like, all these guys are going to be big. But for me, this series comes down to the stars playing like stars. I mean, who is going to elevate their team more? George and Vladdy, or the high-flying, and we talked about Dodgers pitcher, but they still have probably the best flat-out lineup in baseball. Top of the order, bunch of Hall of Famers over there. The Dodgers top of the line are 3 MVPs.
3 MVPs, and then, Hall of Famers galore, and then Will Smith has probably been their best offensive player. Yeah, it's just never kind of.
It's just star.
Yeah, and they may not have the overall depth in their lineup the Blue Jays have, but it's not. Podge. What's his name in right field? Pod. Yeah, I mean their bottom of the order is not sad either. It's not like there's some gigantic drop off there. Capable guys down there as well. But yeah, for me, it comes down to the stars playing like they have. I mean, Vladdy's putting up video game numbers this entire postseason. I think he was hitting over 500. He hit over 500 against the Yankees in that series, 4 home runs in 5 games. Then in the last series, kind of gets off to a little bit of a slow start as the Blue Jays fell behind 0-2 in that series. By the way, another nugget, first team to fall behind 0-2 on the road in a championship series and go on to win. He gets off to a little bit of a slow start, then he turns it on, ends up somewhere in the 400s that series. Yeah. And then I think when we're sitting here in a week or two, I think the Blue Jays pull this out in 7. That's my
I
prediction.
think
The
I was
reason
gonna
I
say
say it, I just don't think that they have the guts to take no for an answer. I don't think they're going to lose back-to-back games. They're too gritty. They're too gutty. They have too much momentum, and I feel like that is just going
yeah.
to catch them.
I agree with you. Like originally, I was thinking, I was like, maybe Dodgers in 6. You know, the Stars they pull it out. Then I'm thinking it's like, yeah, if they let the Jays hang around, get into a game 6, we'll be in Toronto. I think I agree with you. I think the Jays take it in 7 because they're more gutsy and because they play a team game. Because the Dodgers, you see it sometimes. You shut their lineup down, and
Yeah, Mookie's had a bad year. There are guys there like, and you say it too. You
like
said
the
it too.
Phillies series, they were the Phillies were in every game. Yeah, the Dodgers looked better; they were the better team. Shohei Ohtani was atrocious that series, and the Phillies were in every game. If the Blue Jays keep it close, they're going to pull it out in 7.
I think Shohei started off the postseason on a bang, he hit a home run or whatever, and then following that,
Nice
up
ball.
until yeah, up until game 1 of the postseason, till the deciding game, game 4, the sweep against Milwaukee, he was 4 for 33, I think, with like 10 or 11 Ks. I mean, absolutely abysmal. And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks like he's found something now with the 3 home runs. But I just think that the Blue Jays are not going to take no for an answer at the end of the day, and they have enough talent on this roster, and their stars are playing like stars where they can handle a team with as much firepower as the Dodgers. So yeah, I'm glad that we were able to preview this, run down the gamut for Week 7. Big, like I said, Drew. I mean, does it get better than this? Everything is on the table in late October. We have the World Series. We have the NFL heating up. You're really starting to find out.
Tomorrow night. Well, yeah, tomorrow night, right? The NBA tips off.
The NBA kicks off. The New York Islanders are playing the San Jose Sharks as we speak. So a lot of fins up, right? A lot of exciting stuff going on in sports. We gotta keep the recordings rolling. Gotta keep them going. Pleasure having you on today, man.
Thank you. The Islanders are actually currently winning 3-2.
They are nice.
Yeah.
Man, 3-2. Hey, this offense is humming a little bit. When we started the pod, puck drop. Now we got 3 goals. Schaefer looks good. Well, Schaefer looks actually great. Goal, assist, first couple games. Got off to a rocky start there, dropping the first few, but trying to get back to 500 tonight. So good things there. Hopefully,
Another assist tonight.
we love Schaefer, man. I mean, he is the support of the entire fan base right now.
He is. And we will definitely be at a few games this year.
Yes, for sure. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, being out here in Ohio with college and everything is great, but look forward to seeing you, my friend, and some Miles games on tap, hopefully. And Knicks, I mean, we'll see. Maybe if you get a job.
Probably the
But
Nets. Probably the Nets.
yeah, Nets, pay about a tenth of the price and get a better DJ. Better DJ, tenth of the price. Why not? You got to go Nets.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
We make it clap.
Yeah, it's always fun out at the Barclays Center, even though the on-the-court product is just about as bad as the Jets. But we love our Nets. All right, Drew, thanks for coming on once again. If you're still with us, thank you for listening. We'll see you next time right here on the New York Sports Take.